The Masters 8 tournament ended with the 4-part spectacle of Ash Ketchum versus Leon. After working his way up the ranks to the top 8, he's made it to the finals where he can challenge his greatest obstacle, Leon. This battle was incredible and full of hidden details like Ash's Dragonite making a clear callback to Ash's Charizard's signature Seismic Toss finisher move from back in the day. But did you notice during Surfetch'd's battle against Mr. Ryme, Ash makes the same pose that Alon made during their battle in the Kalos League finals? Hey Pokemon Champions, I'm Champion Blaze and this is a breakdown of part 2 of Ash vs Leon, Toying with Your Motions. I'll be uncovering all the little Easter eggs, hidden details, and references you might have missed while watching this episode. And if you haven't seen my breakdown of the first part of this epic battle, make sure to check that out as well. There's tons of cool details in that episode, such as that episode being the last time we'd see Lance and Steven again. If you're all caught up though, then let's dive into part 2 of Ash vs Leon. Let's get started. This episode picks up from the last one, with Ash having to find a counter against Leon's Mr. Ryme. This is the Pokemon that defeated Ash's Gengar in the episode prior, and has also made the battlefield its own by covering it with ice by using Freeze Dry, and then using Psychic Terrain. Ash decides to counter by using Surfetch'd, saying there's something only he can do. The opening theme then plays as always, but I'm not gonna break it down in this video. If you want to see all the hidden Easter eggs that were in the opening theme, you can check out my breakdown of part 1 of this battle. When the title card appears, both Ash and Leon read this title card just like in the first part of this battle, which just goes to show how important both of them have been as characters in the series. It also demonstrates the influence Ash has had on Leon and vice versa throughout the series, and especially during the Masters 8 tournament. The battle picks up and Ash has Surfetch'd use Fury Cutter against Mr. Ryme. As they battle, Mr. Ryme defends against the attack using its cane, and this actually makes the fight look like a sword duel between two medieval knights. It also bears resemblance to a fencing match as well. Of course, Surfetch'd is based off knights since Galar is based off the United Kingdom, with a large portion of the area being England, and England, like many European countries, have had knights at some point during their history, knights being the iconic figures of the medieval times of Europe's history. Surfetch'd is then hit with expanding force, and when it falls to the ground and drops its shield, you can actually hear that the sound team made the shield hitting the ground sound like an actual metallic shield, despite the shield being made up of a leek. I just think it's a neat attention to detail to really play into the whole chivalrous knight concept of Surfetch'd's design. We can then see that Wilkstrom is watching this battle as well, Wilkstrom being the Kalos Elite 4 member who helped Ash's Galarian Farfetch'd with some special training earlier in the series. After getting hit with Triple Axle and pole vaulting to grab its shield and block another Triple Axle attack, Ash has Surfetch'd use Fury Cutter to cut up the ice field. When he says this, however, he strikes an interesting pose. He makes the same pose that Alon made when telling Charizard to fire off Blast Burn during their match in the Kalos League finals. But Ash also made the same pose earlier in another series, in Sun and Moon, when he was battling Olivia during his Grand Trial match. Surfetch'd uses Fury Cutter to cut up the ice battlefield, and it seems Ash has a knack for breaking ice, as he's broken ice against Brandon's Regice and Wolfric's Mega Abomasnow. But this is also a tactic Ash has used in the Sinnoh League as well, when he had to eliminate the toxic spikes that Paul had set up in the match. I think it's funny too that Diantha is even shocked herself that Ash's strategy worked to eliminate the Psychic Terrain. It just seems like a meta joke from the writers that they know Ash has come up with some wild strategies that sometimes just shouldn't work. And yes, we're looking at Thunder Armor. But in addition to this tactic being similar to Ash's underground Flare Blitz with Infernape, it's even more similar to the Trick Room strategy Ash used against Valerie in his Laver City gym battle. During that battle, he had Alucha use X-Scissor, another bug type move, to break a psychic field move, in this case, Trick Room. So this isn't the first time Ash has broken through a psychic move using a bug type offensive move. Following that, Ash switches Surfetch'd for Lucario, and the transition sequence is so cool and thematic as it showcases their bond as fighting type Pokemon on Ash's Journeys team. Once Lucario hits the field, Ash immediately unleashes his power of Mega Evolution and brings forth Mega Lucario. We're then shown Gherkin, Karina, and Bee are watching this match as well. Bee was Ash's rival earlier in the series, and she's the fighting type gym leader of Galar. Bee's seen Ash's Lucario since it was the Riolu, and then after gaining the power to Mega Evolve, Ash then challenged Bee again, and Mega Lucario stood up to her Gigantamax Machamp and then defeated it once it returned to normal size. Bee is also voiced by Tiana Camacho, and she's also voiced Nessa in Pokemon Masters EX, as well as Christina in Great Pretender, Steph in Ancient Frontier, and Jorgen from Beefcake Boys. Karina is the fighting type gym leader of Shalor City in the Kalos region, and is one of the many trainers Ash has faced over the years that has owned a Lucario, but she's the only trainer he's fought that owned a Mega Lucario. Karina is voiced by Lisa Ortiz, which is very notable because she's actually the current voice director for the English dub of the Pokemon anime. But besides Karina, she's also voiced Flannery, Mars, Liza, and Pokemon such as Ash's Oshawott, Ash's Litten and Torracat, Tapu Fini, Valerie Spritzy, and Naganadel. Outside of Pokemon, she's done the voices of Amy Rose in Sonic X and all Sonic games from 2005 to 2009, Serenity Wheeler from Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, Burnin from My Hero Academia, and Tony Chopper from One Piece. It's also very poetic that back in XY, Ash witnessed Karina's struggle with mastering Mega Evolution and even helped her in her endeavor. And then in this series, we have Karina and Gherkin helping Ash attain and master Mega Evolution with his own Lucario. Gherkin is voiced by Jason Griffith, who's also done the voices of our fabulous man Silent, Brawly, Looker, Tate, and Sir Aaron, and even Pokemon like Ash's Scraggy, Ash's Goodra from XY episode 67 onwards, Trip's Superior line, and George's Bisharp as well. Outside of Pokemon, he's known for voicing Sonic and Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic X, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and all Sonic games from 2005 to 2010. He's also done Jet the Hawk from Sonic Riders and Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, Primo and Aporia from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, Lord Darkar from Winx Club, Atticus Rhodes from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and Usopp and Yasopp from One Piece. And keep in mind, I stated in my last video that when I list off the various roles from these voice actors, I'm not listing them all, as that would take an entirely separate video. This episode is also the last time we would see Gherkin, Karina, and Wilkstrom. And of course, Ash having Mega Lucario is extreme fan service, as ever since Pokemon XY, we all wanted Ash to get his own Mega Evolution, and we've wanted to have Lucario ever since his interactions with the Lucario from the 8th Pokemon film, Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. In Pokemon Journeys, we finally got our wish. After Lucario Mega Evolves, there's actually a quick shot of the camera staying focused on the sky above the battlefield, as we can see little particles fill the air, presumably being Mega Evolution energy particles filling the air. This is just another subtle hint of foreshadowing at Eternatus' eventual arrival later in the battle. Ash has Lucario use its power of Aura to sense the movements of Mr. Ryme, as it is famously known to be able to do. But what's interesting here is that we saw Lucario switch to a blue hue, which is meant to represent it unlocking greater power after its training with Greninja in the episode, catching the Aura of Fate. This allows it to dodge Triple Axle and land a powerful Aura Sphere attack, knocking out Mr. Ryme. Leon's next Pokemon is Dragapult. Ash begins with a combination of Double Team and Bullet Punch to land the first strike against Dragapult, and then Dragapult hits Lucario with a point-blank flamethrower. See, Cynthia? This is how you deal with Ash's Mega Lucario. Ash promptly switches out Mega Lucario with Dracovish, marking the first time a Mega Pokemon has been recalled to its Pokeball. After being hit with Dragon Darts, Ash's Dracovish seems to be unlocking a mysterious primal power of sorts, as the sharp red spikes on its torso begin to glow and then extend outward. When this episode first aired, many people were calling this latent dragon power plot armor, but in reality, this is a power-up we've seen before in the Pokemon anime. If you remember, over a decade ago, Ash discovered this power by accident when he battled against Tower Tycoon Palmer in the Twin Leaf Festival. While using Grotle to battle Palmer's Rhyperior, Grotle accidentally swallows its own energy ball, causing the Grows on its back to glow full of that grass-type energy from the energy ball. This then gave Grotle a massive power boost to take on Rhyperior, but then Dawn would purposely use this tactic in her following contest, having her Mamoswine consume its own Ice Shard attack to create imposing ice spikes protruding from its back. And because Dracovish essentially ate the Dragon Darts attack from Leon's Dragapult by catching one of the Dreepy in its mouth, this is what caused the power boost we can see manifest in Dracovish's red spikes on its torso. Having awakened that power, Dragapult charges at Dracovish, but Dracovish catches Dragapult with its spikes. The announcer even makes a remark that it's similar to Grappaloc's Octalock move. This is the move that gave Ash immense trouble during his first battle with Bee, and even in their second battle. Dracovish has Dragapult in a bind and attacks with Fishious Rend, followed up by Ice Fang. Leon counters by using Dragon Tail, and this is actually the first time we've ever seen the secondary effect of Dragon Tail activate. Many Pokemon have used Dragon Tail in the past, like Ash's Charizard in Black and White or Clement's Heliolisk in XY, but the move's secondary effect that exists in the games never activated. So it's interesting that this battle is when they decided to show it off, but this move definitely plays into the title of this episode, as causing Ash's Pokemon to switch in and out without warning will definitely throw Ash off his game. Dragon Tail forces Ash's Dragonite into the battle, and Ash immediately uses Dragon Dance in response to Dragapult's Dragon Darts. The little Dreepy stay locked on to Dragonite, and it can't even land a single hit with Dragon Claw. As the Dreepy fly back to Dragapult, Dragonite charges in with Dragon Claw and is struck by Dragon Tail, which switches out Dragonite for Lucario. Lucario lands a barrage of bullet punches on Dragapult, followed by a clash between Dragapult's Thunderbolt and Lucario's reversal. But the collision causes Lucario to become severely paralyzed, stopping it in its tracks, allowing for Dragapult to land a direct flamethrower attack. The heat is too much for Lucario, and it's defeated, marking its first defeat after Mega Evolving. Ash's next Pokemon is Dragonite, and it starts the battle by using Hurricane to disorient and shake up Dragapult. Leon responds by using Thunderbolt, and it seemingly neutralizes the Hurricane, very similar to Pikachu's Counter Shield against Paul's Magmortar Smog attack at Lake QOTD, but not quite exactly. Ash's next move is to use Draco Meteor, the most powerful Dragon-type attack. Leon uses Dragon Darts again, and the Droopy are shot down by Draco Meteor, while Dragapult closes in on Dragonite. Ash tells Dragonite to grab Dragapult, and even while being hit with Thunderbolt, it stays strong and uses its signature Dragonite Meteor attack. In Japanese, this is actually called Kairyu Seigun, which is a combination of Kairu, Dragonite's original Japanese name, and Ryu Seigun, the Japanese name for Draco Meteor. As Dragonite spins towards the ground with Dragapult in its arms, we can see that this is a clear callback to Charizard's iconic Seismic Toss finisher move from the original series and Battle Frontier, with notable moments being when Ash used Seismic Toss to finish off Blaine's Magmar, Todd's Poliwrath, Claire's Dragonair, Gary's Blastoise, and Nolan's Articuno. This move is powerful enough to defeat Leon's Dragapult, meaning Ash has now defeated half of Leon's team. After Dragapult goes down, we can hear Shinji Miyazaki's theme music from Pokemon Black and White and Pokemon XY playing in the background, which is now probably one of the most iconic and recognizable themes in the Pokemon anime. This moment also makes it so that Ash has now battled and defeated every single pseudo-legendary Pokemon except for Kamao at this time, which he could have battled if Cynthia decided to use it in the Masters 8. Following Dragapult's defeat, Leon's next Pokemon is his mighty Rillaboom, and just listen to how this man sends out this Pokemon.
Rillaboom, let's go!
Very fitting that the best Galar starter is the strongest starter on Leon's team and probably the second strongest overall, right behind Charizard. Of course, this Pokemon is exceptionally strong and known for sweeping 4 out of Diantha's 6 Pokemon in the Masters 8 semi-finals. So having Shinji Miyazaki's music play at this moment just really sets the tension at a new high once this Pokemon hits the field. Rillaboom has a fearsome demeanor, powerful presence, and strong composure that even makes Dragonite worried about it, and clearly Ash is concerned with how he's going to deal with Rillaboom during this battle. The episode ends with a face-off between Rillaboom and Dragonite, as that is our next matchup. This was such an incredible episode. Leon was definitely in control for a vast majority of this battle, and he continues to showcase why he's been the undefeated champion. He responds well to different situations and doesn't get thrown off that easily. But leave it to Ash to be the one to surprise even Leon, as I'm sure even he wasn't expecting Ash to bust out a Dragonite Meteor technique. The back and forth was fantastic, with both sides delivering grade A strategies and responses. Next time we'll see how Ash handles Leon's busted Rillaboom. And these were all the hidden details, Easter eggs, and references that I noticed during this episode, but let me know if I missed any in the comments. Next time we'll break down part 3 of this epic battle. Parring Pokemon while parrying. Well, that's quite an episode title. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this video and so you can see the next installment. Until next time, Pokemon champions, train hard, and I'll catch you guys later.